I think there's just like some sort of evil DNA that like lurks in that side of the family, that lurks within me, that just like craves to be free and like to go blow up a city in New Jersey. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mo, short for hamburger. Yep, yay. Anyways, several things. Number one, wow, we're growing at a really rapid rate. Faster than I could have predicted, like, ever happening. So that's really scary, but, like, if you're new, hi, sorry that you're here. I don't know what to tell you about that. Number two, yes, the collection did get bigger, because my birthday was on Monday. I'm filming this on a Thursday. I don't know when this is gonna come out, but my collection did get bigger. The only thing that's not new is her. Her. She's not new. I've had her. She was just like, you just couldn't see her. So I moved her because like she's cool and I need people to know that I'm a freak. Anyways, so today we are doing the average get ready with me. So that's really fun. Anyways, we're gonna be talking about today the Riddler, but more specifically why he's so appealing, at least to me. So yeah, let's get into that, because like, who really wants to sit around and just listen to me yap about unrelated things? We have a topic to discuss. I can't speak. First thing I want to get out of the way is, despite really liking the Riddler, I think the aesthetic is really interesting. I really like the question mark. I love the cane. I love the cane so much. I think that's such a fun little detail. I love how like in like older comics he had like the two bad bitches on his arm. Like, that's real as fuck. But don't really like most Riddler designs. I know that's really shocking. How could you like the Riddler so much but you don't like most Riddler designs? How could you? Is that blasphemy? Maybe it is blasphemy, but like, genuinely, I think most of them are hot garbage, and like, there's a good reason. I don't know why we have made so many fucking Riddler designs where he's like bald, or he's like has a tattoo on his forehead. Like, you know, like the Harley Quinn design, I absolutely hate it. It is so bad, unironically. I don't know why the hell we like let that happen, but we did. We did let that happen. And also, like, the tattoo, sometimes it's on his forehead, sometimes it's on his chest, sometimes he has really intense sideburns, sometimes he doesn't, sometimes he's like super bald, you know. I already said that he's bald. I don't know. Sometimes he's buff. I've seen him where he's buff. I've seen it where he has a tattoo on his chest of a question mark. I think that's cringe. That's really unneeded. I saw the Batman Riddler Hush design. Girl, he's like buff, like absolutely buff. Like, it's giving absolute Batman universe to buff up the character like that, you know? Like, it's kind of cringe. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't really like the designs. I don't know. I really like the old design, like from like the golden age, where he's just wearing like the like skin suit. I think that's really funny, because like, girl, what are you doing? Girl, get out. Like, that's really bad. I don't know. It translates really well to live action though. Like, every time that suit's been worn live action, I don't really mind it. I think my favorite though, such a basic fucking bitch answer, but it is probably going to be the animated series. I really like the tuxedo. I always will like the tuxedo, but I also really like Paul Dano's. And I know that's like such a basic answer, and I'm really biased. I literally just made a whole video about how much I love the Year One comic, but like, it's true objectively. Okay, this is all blended in. Anyways, is it biased? Maybe, but it's true. Like, I'm sorry, I can't lie to you all. I fucking love that design. I think it's so great. It's different. It's unique. It's the moment, you know? I don't know. I'm also a little biased because I made a Riddler design and I love it so much, and I'll get to that in a moment, probably, because I feel like I can't really talk about the Riddler without talking about that Riddler design I make, and I always post on social media about on my Instagram, which you should follow that if you want to see, like, art. I don't know. I don't feel like everybody wants to see art, but, like, the people who do, like, the girls who want to see art, you could go over and see that. Or you're a grown man. Who knows? Anyways, no. And, like, to be honest, though, the stuff about aesthetics is superficial at best. Like, it really truly does not matter. Because, for example, it could be a shitty looking design, but, like, a great adaptation, you know? Like, when Jim Carrey's Riddler, he's, for some unknown, ungodly reason, has pink hair, right? Great adaptation of the Riddler. I think it's probably one of the most comic book accurate adaptations of the Riddler that we've ever had. Which, like, isn't that surprising, because, I don't know, Jim Carrey really just captures that manic energy that the Riddler has. That, I don't know, I don't think everyone's cut out to play the Riddler, because it's kind of, like, the way I would describe, like, the Riddler is, like, he's, like, insanely smart, right? But he kind of has the energy of, like, you guys remember Toddlers and Tiaras, and do you remember, like, Honey Boo Boo, and how she had, like, that, like, juice that her mom would make that was, like, all these sugary energy drinks put into, like, one, and she would, like, drink it? Or was that JoJo Siwa? I don't remember. I think it was Honey Boo Boo. Anyways, that's how I would describe the Riddler. He just has that energy. He's, like, he's what I would imagine like a sugar high is, because he's really hyper, he's kind of manic, I would say, and then when he doesn't get his way, he gets really upset, and it's very entertaining to watch, obviously. I don't know, Paul Dano really captures that, though. Captures energy. I don't know, it's I think it's easy. I'm gonna shut up, because I could go on about, like, different Riddler portrayals and how easy and difficult it could be to play the Riddler. I don't know how it is. I'm not an actor. Not anymore. I wanted to be an actor when I was younger, but, like, obviously I gave up on that because, like, I don't really want to have to memorize lines. That's a lot of work. I can barely memorize my own password to, like, log into, like, anything. So, you know, I'm not gonna memorize lines. Anyways, I think I rambled for too long about, like, design. Is that's really just superficial nonsense. I think what makes the Riddler most appealing, first of all, I talked about this in my Riddler video that I just made, but he, to me, is very relatable. Like, this, like, really smart guy, but he's just kind of, like, he's just a little unhinged. I don't know how to put it. I don't know. This is really weird to say, but for some reason, on my dad's side of the family, it is literally, like, pure evil, and I don't say that lightly. Like, I genuinely mean evil people. And I don't know, I think there's just, like, some sort of evil DNA that, like, lurks in that side of the family, that lurks within me, that just, like, craves to be free and, like, to go blow up a city in New Jersey, just like the Riddler. Evil manifests in different ways. I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know what to say. I'm right, and you know it. Evil always manifests in new, cool ways. I'm gonna shut up about that. No, I think the Riddler, in terms of, like, how he is with Batman, is really, really strong. Depending on the adaptation. We have to keep that in mind. Not every writer is going to get it. Like, not every girl is gonna get it, but the girls who get it, get it. You know what I mean. Although, to be fair, I'm pretty sure 95% of DC writers are just, like, middle-aged white men. Oh my god, I'm almost out of setting powder. What the fuck? See this? See what girls have to go through? Okay, there we go. Anyways. No, I think he has a really good, like, when it comes to Batman, I think the Riddler is incredibly strong in terms of dynamics and how he pushes Batman. Because here's the thing. We all know that the Joker is technically, like, the antithesis to Batman. He is the good to Batman. No, he is the evil to Batman's good, right? But I really do think the Riddler kind of can carry in his own way, because even though the Joker is just, like, the opposite of Batman in every way that counts, I feel like the Riddler just is low-key just a little bit more compelling of a character, because the Joker quite literally is just like evil, and it always is for a different. I just spit everywhere and it's disgusting. Why did I do that? Whatever. The Joker, it really depends on the adaptation. Like, I don't think he ever really has a consistent backstory, you know? Like, I think about how, like, in the animated series, right? He told Harley Quinn that, like, he was, like, abused as a child and he just wanted to make people smile, and then the Joker, not the Joker, and then Batman laughs and is like, oh, girl, you fell for the sob story? Oh, that's not true. You know, like, he's just purely evil for no rhyme or reason in most adaptations. There's not, like, a point to being evil in his case. But the Riddler, he kind of has a point, because his whole thing is, like, intelligence, right? And because he's so smart, he's so intelligent, he's playing mind games. I don't know, like, in, The Riddler One Bad Day, he's doing it because he just doesn't see the point in academics, or, like, he does see the point in academics, but, like, he went crazy trying to figure out academics, right? And because he went crazy trying to figure out academics, he's like, riddles are just much more fun because they're unpredictable. You can't predict them. And it drives him mad being unable to predict something when you're so smart and you're usually able to predict everything, right? And, like, that's a kind of, like, a fair point. But also I, like, or, like, in, like, the Riddler Year One, for example, he becomes the Riddler because he wants reform for the systems that have left him and millions of people like him behind so that they can profit the rich. That is really compelling stuff, right? That's interesting. That is something you can make full video essays about, right? You could analyze for hours about that. And I mean, you could analyze the Joker too. Not saying you can't. You can analyze him and Batman's dynamic, but the Riddler as a character you can analyze for a long time, and you can think about. You can ponder him, and you can wonder, right? I don't know if you could really necessarily do that with, like, the Joker, because he is just kind of evil. I don't know. I'm willing to hear someone out. I'm willing to be humbled. I'm willing to be ratioed. If that take is wrong, I don't care. You know, we all have opportunities to learn, and my field is the Riddler, and so, you know, I sometimes have to stay in my lane, and maybe I'm out of my lane right now. Maybe I'm talking out of hand. Who fucking knows? Who cares? It's not real. Anyways, because he is so smart, he does have this ability to just, like, get in Batman's head in a way other characters aren't necessarily going to be able to, because he knows he's smart. You know, okay, so, like, I don't remember who even said this, but a lot of old classic Batman characters were made to kind of be, like, a foil to Batman, right? The Penguin's supposed to be a foil to how rich he is. The Joker is just supposed to be the ultimate foil, the ultimate, like, opposite of Batman. Catwoman is supposed to be, like, the, like, morale opposite to him, somebody who tempts his morals, right? I don't know, he doesn't really... I think those are, like, the main classic villains, is, like, Catwoman, Penguin, Joker, Riddler. And the Riddler, however, is the foil to his intelligence, because the Riddler is not a strong guy, I would say. Muscle's not his strong suit, so whenever they give him, like, muscles, it's always so funny to me, because, like, girl, what are we doing? He's not muscular. That was, like, his whole thing, is that he's, like, a twink, right? Anyways, put that one image on screen that's like, will twinks survive the bottom apocalypse? And it's like the Riddler. Anyways, no, his strength lies in academia. His strength lies in mind games, in messing with Batman in a way other characters will not be able to get into his head. And I think that's so interesting because there's a dynamic there. Because Batman knows he's smart. He knows that the Riddler probably knows all of his secret identities. Secret identities, like he has multiple. No, he probably knows his secret identity. He probably knows things about this guy that just, like, the average person is just not gonna know. He's able to see through Batman. He knows what Batman is. I know what you are, and you're gay. Kind of energy we have going on. But he doesn't reveal who Batman is. Why? Because it's a game, right? Like, to him, he has all this academic knowledge. He's super smart. He's super intelligent. But he doesn't give up like who Batman is, or like use this as like blackmail or whatever, because there's no fun in that. The One Bad Day Riddler comic actually goes into this a lot. Thank you, Tom King, for your literary masterpiece that I'm about to cite here. Oh my god, my makeup mirror. Jesus Christ. Anyways, this looks like a hot mess, but like if you've ever done nose contouring, you know. The girls get it. No, he says that, like, even though he knows who Bruce Wayne is, and he's known for a long time that he's Batman, he doesn't give up his identity. Not because he doesn't want to, he could totally do it, but because there's no fun in that. The game ends if you turn in the guy who's chasing you, right? For him, it's all cat and mouse. It is going back and forth. It is, trying to capture this impossible to capture man, to get him to bend to you, to understand you, because like he is your equal in every sense of the word in terms of academics, not strength. I would argue that the Riddler's not strong, and that's like the whole point. Anyways, no, he is really he's really smart. He can get into your head in a way that other characters can't. I mean, I'm sure other characters can. Like, I'm sure, like, the Scarecrow could get into your head. But, like, the Riddler, it's just a game to him, right? It's a game to him, and, like, sure, he's, like, stealing stuff or whatever, or holding people hostage, but that's not why he's doing it. He's not doing it just because, like, he's not doing it, like, in, like, the Joker sense where he's just, like, evil. He's doing it because he's kind of, like, he's kind of an attention hog. Now, another thing that I really like about the Riddler is his personality. I like that he's kind of, like, a freak in the sense that, like, when he doesn't get his way, he kind of throws a hissy fit. He's insanely petty. I don't think I've ever seen a character so damn petty. And that's saying a lot, because I don't know. He's really petty. He holds a grudge. He remembers things. He wants the aha moment. He wants the upper hand. And when he doesn't get the fucking upper hand, oh my god, my nose. I hate messing with my nose. It makes me sniffle. And like when you sniffle, that really sucks. Girl, why is my makeup so weird right now? Anyways. No, okay, so he's really petty. He holds grudges. He doesn't let go of things, right? Like he does things out of revenge. He gets really upset when he loses. When things don't go his way, he's quite upset, which is very valid. It's very me coded. Whenever things don't go my way, I also like scream and cry. I don't scream, I do cry. I will cry. When plans change, I do cry because like I've mentally prepared myself for one thing, so now that the schedule has changed, it's like awful and like I want to die. Anyways, that's not very super villain coded though. That's like very pathetic autism coded. No, anyways, he's really petty, and I think that's really interesting and kind of like almost even, I would argue, like a contrast to Batman, where he can stay cool and collected in the face of like never ending, never changing tides. But when the tide changes on the Riddler's predicted outcome, he's quite upset. He doesn't know how to handle himself. He turns into a giant toddler. When he loses, it's not fair to him, which is completely fair, by the way. I don't know. I'm willing to justify his actions. He's just a girl, TM. No. But he, on top of being petty, he's manipulative. One thing I've always really liked about the Riddler, actually, is that you never quite know what the hell he's planning. When it's written well, you really don't know what this guy is about to do, what he's gonna get up to, what is his plan. One of my favorite things, as returning viewers, not everyone knows this, if you are a returning viewer to this channel, you know that my favorite Batman adaptation is the 1966 Batman adaptation. One thing that adaptation does really, really well is a lot of things, but one thing it gets really right, and is the Riddler. In the sense that whenever he's committing a crime, whenever it's an episode about him, I never fully know where we're going. Like, I don't know how or what he's gonna do, because there's multiple steps to the plan, and he's so good at giving breadcrumbs to not just Batman and Robin, but the audience as well. It's hard to know what his final goal is. He is really good at like confusing us, leading us off of his trail. And that's the Riddler done right. The Riddler done right is supposed to throw you off his trail. You're not supposed to be able to follow him quite right, because there's a million steps to the final goal, because he's trying to confuse and deceive like a riddle. What was that accent? Like a riddle. He's out here acting crazy, acting insane, because he's just trying to keep Batman on this cat and mouse chase forever. Now, I think earlier I mentioned that I'm going to get back to my own Riddler thing. Okay, so I made this really hyper feminine, girly Riddler design for several reasons. One, to point out that if the Riddler simply was just like swapped in genders, it would be so shippable, and the amount of people who don't see that is kind of crazy. And I know that's kind of just like unrelated whatsoever, and that's kind of like fandom talk. I mean, this is all fandom talk, but you know what I mean. This is like very like fandom. I feel like that's like almost like a girly thing to like ship characters. I don't know. Maybe men ship characters. I don't know how much though. I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be in the mind of a male comic book reader, and I frankly don't ever want to find out what that's like. That sounds really scary. Anyways, no. But also one thing that I think is really interesting is that like the Riddler as a character is so obsessed with Batman, and we never really understand why. It's like a million reasons, but like you really don't need to be so obsessed with this guy, because he is like nothing. But it's like the Riddler does not care, and he wants this man's validation, and it's like, but why? And so I made this really feminine, girly Riddler design to prove that if he was a girl, it would work out. And here's why. I think that in a universe, okay, so this is gonna make no sense at all, and I realize this is like really maybe even reaching, but okay. So girls are socially raised differently from boys, and I think a lot of people already know that, but follow along, okay? Men are often raised differently from girls. They're not as in touch with their emotions as girls, because they're raised differently. They're raised to put that shit away, right? They're raised to put that stuff down and like not talk about it. But like girls are, right? Like girls are raised to be in touch with their emotions, to talk about how they feel, to like be in the know with their emotions, right? Because it's like they're like sensitive and docile and caregivers, right? Okay, all of that is like stupid, but like listen, if the Riddler was a girl, I feel like the reason that character would be so obsessed with Batman is not necessarily for the validation or the cat and mouse game. I think it would be like a lustful obsession, and I just don't think a guy Riddler character would really understand that. And also, I don't think a guy Riddler character would have that happen, because like most DC writers are just never gonna get that vision, girl. Especially because even when I see people who do ship that really niche ship, I notice that it's often like they treat like the Riddler like he's like in heat, almost like he's just like so obsessed. And like, sure, but I imagine something that's like more ominous. Like I imagine like something that just doesn't sit right in your bones. Like almost like, you know, like the weeping angels from like Doctor Who, and like they're just like ominous and they're there, and if you look at them they like kill you or whatever. That's what I kind of imagine, like this like ominous, eerie, quiet like obsession. And that's one thing I really liked about Riddler Year One, not Riddler Year One, One Bad Day. I keep referencing these two comics, but I don't know, they're really good, surprisingly. I know Tom King writes Something Good challenge. Impossible. I didn't know he could do that. Is that looks bad. I was too thick with it. I'll clean that up. Anyways, I'm losing my train of thought. So when the Riddler is like kind of like insanely into Batman, I feel like a feminine Riddler would be more in touch with how they feel and realize, oh shit, girl, I'm really into this guy. And so I basically have been on like an artistic hyperfixation, basically proving this point over and over again, because it really would work, and the amount of people I think who would be really into it would understand, because the Riddler is just so interesting. And if you think about it in a romantic sense, it is always so much 10 times more, oh my god, my palette fell down, my eyeshadow palette. It is 10 times more interesting, because the idea that like someone would be so like lustful and so driven to obsession that they would like be in, like they would commit crimes for somebody just so that they could keep them forever in this loop and like have them in this like weird twisted sense is so interesting. It kind of reminds, this is really random, but it kind of reminds me of that song All Eyes on Me, you know, like that Bendy and the Machine Chapter 3 fanon song someone made. Yeah, that one, where it's just like you keep everybody focused on you at all times because you want their attention, you want their validation, you want to be the center of that person's universe. Yeah, that's what I feel like a feminine Riddler would be like, and I feel like even the Riddler, you could read his actions like that, and I think that's so much more interesting. It adds a layer of depth that I don't think you're gonna see in most normal Batman adaptations, because I don't know, I don't know who wants to hear this, but not Batman, just like comics in general, superhero comics are so fucking queer coded, and the amount of people who don't see that or choose to not acknowledge that is crazy, and like you should acknowledge that because that's insane, and I can't believe we live in a world where that's like a thing, where people have gone decades just kind of ignoring the obvious queer or like any marginalized group coding that happens in comics, because like it doesn't disappear because you choose to ignore it, right? I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like running around in like skimpy tight suits and like pinning men against the wall. That's just something homosexual about it. Like, how could you, are you sure you're not into men? Anyways, I'm gonna pause right here so I don't run out of like storage footage. I'm gonna finish my makeup and I'm gonna do my outro. Okay, so I have finished my makeup. You know, that's that's super cool. Anyways, no, so let's wrap up. I don't know how good this video is gonna be. TBH, I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna make any sense. If it doesn't make sense, probably we'll cut out the parts that don't make sense, or this will never be seen by anyone. I hope that's not true, because I really do like the Riddler, but I don't know. I mean, I have been wrong before. The video that I made that kind of blew up, at least in terms for my channel, made a lot of views, and I was thinking, I don't think it's gonna do well, it's too niche, it's too whatever. So, you know, I've been wrong before, I'm willing to be wrong again. I don't know. I'm willing to listen to people if they have a differing opinion, or they're like, no, you're wrong about this, or like, actually, I'm willing to hear people out, okay? I think that's awesome. Now, before I wrap this up, I did want to say that I did get an influx of subscribers. I think we're close to 200, if not at 200, and I know, like, in terms of social media, 200 doesn't feel like a lot to people, but to me, that's a lot of people. That is 200 individual different people on this planet who went, yep, I want to see more of this content. They looked at me and they went, whatever I have to say is fascinating, or they agree with it enough to want to come back to see another video where I talk about it, talk about something else, something related. And that's, I think, one of the most validating and like awesome things ever. I've never really been in this kind of position before. I don't know if I'll end up being an influencer. I kind of hope not. If I do end up growing like a platform, I don't want to be an influencer. Actually, I would rather just use this to talk about comic books. I don't want to influence people, because the whole reason I started this channel was simply because my fixation is so deep and so big. I wanted to talk about comic books, right? And I'm doing that. And like, why would I want to like move to LA if I'm already achieving like my dreams right here, right now, you know? So that's really nice. Like, why would I change anything about this? Yeah. And I'm also hoping that even if I do end up growing a platform or any sort of influence, no matter how big or small, I do want to let people know that I'm going to try as best as I can to create a safe space where sexism is not as rampant. Because in my last video that blew up, if there was one thing that you can take away from reading the comments, it's that nerd spaces, nerd fandoms, not a safe place for women or queer people or people of color, frankly. It is not a safe space. People don't feel safe to just talk about things that they like because they're scared of getting harassed by men. Like, that's like white men. Or just men in general, I guess. I don't know. And that's so heartbreaking to me that people can't nerd out. So as long as I have a platform of any sort of capacity, there will always be space for people to be nerdy, to be freaks and geeks, to just geek out. Because frankly, we need a safe, welcoming space for that sort of thing. And I'm willing to have to be the first to pioneer something like that, especially on a larger scale if I have to. Because frankly, everybody should be allowed to let their inner nerd fly, right? Like, I don't know. I feel very lucky to have any sort of following on social media, whether it be big or small, because I'm really thankful that I get to talk about comic books and that my Batman hyperfixation, my special interest, I get to talk about that. That is like the best feeling in the world to me, and I would never take that for granted. And it really is a great feeling to have people who want to listen to that, and it's very humbling, and it feels really cool. So I would like to say that thank you for that, and obviously I will keep making YouTube videos as often as I can. Frankly, it really depends. Because I do have a job. I'm not just like a YouTuber. I'm not one of those people who does this full time. You know, like I have things going on outside of my life. I'm a full-time student. I have a job. I have a lot to do. And sometimes when you have a lot to do, you kind of just like have to like, you just have to cope. You know, you have to like figure out when I have time. You know, I actually, for this video, I took off all of my makeup, reapplied the same makeup onto my face just for this video, because that's like the only time this week that I will have time to film a YouTube video, you know, and that's just sometimes how it goes. So yeah, try to do weekly, try to do bi-weekly as much as I can. Really thankful for this platform that I'm growing, and it's really scary and it's really fun. Can't wait to talk about more Batman media. I'm thinking of doing a video talking about what the hell is going on with comic books right now, because right now in Batman media, characters are getting watered down unbelievably badly, and I feel like we should talk about that, because that's weird, and like we need to we need to not water down and fanonize characters just because they're not having conflicts within each other, right? So I'm thinking about making a video about that. I want to make a video about Batman and Robin. I have several comic books I want to review. I have a bigger project coming up where I review some Marvel comics, but that's gonna take a hot minute because like I have to finish reading them. I have to form an opinion, right? So yeah, that's gonna be a while. But I do have several videos coming up, so that's really exciting for me, at least, because I really like making YouTube videos. This is like it's just like a hobby for me, but this has been like my dream hobby since like I was a little kid, because like everybody, and I mean literally everybody, I think at some point has always been like, wow, it would be so fun to be a YouTuber. And like I'm not like a YouTuber in a traditional sense. It's not my full-time job. I don't think I would ever want content creation to be my full-time job because it's so unpredictable in terms of money. Like I would never want to do that. But just being able to make videos and be at a place where I'm comfortable making videos and like showing my face and like my collection or whatever, and like I have something to say, that's really fun. That's great. That's like the ultimate dream. Oh, I also have another video coming up which I'm broadening my horizons. We're not gonna be talking about Batman in that video. I'm really excited for that one because I know a lot about it and I can't wait to talk about it. But it's gonna be a while before we do that because there's a few things I have to do before I can get there. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope this video made any sort of sense, and yeah, bye!